Hi there. In this video I'm going to show you how to use Roll20 enhanced keyboard shortcuts, which is a user script that I made and published on Greasy Fork, which you can install into your browser using a tool like TamperMonkey, and it will give you a bunch of additional options that you can access with the keyboard in Roll20. We're going to go ahead and go through these in order. First, in order to summon the input bar, you press the # key. This pops up here, and then if you click outside of it or hit escape, it will go away. Once you're in the input bar, if you type in something that isn't a command, like I'm just going to type the letter J, you'll get an error, unknown command. It'll tell you to try entering H for help. So let's go ahead and do that. And we get the help. So sure enough, H for help. You can also use C to send chat. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to my chat over here and type C, and then I'm just going to say test message. Notice that you don't put a space after the command. You just go straight into whatever parameters the command expects. That worked. And let's try something a little more complicated, like the example. So we'll say W to whisper /W. To whisper to the game master, type GM, say roll with advantage. Let's say this was like a 5e D&D kind of thing. And let's say 2d20, keep the highest 1. And sure enough, that works just fine. Note that in order to use chat commands, you need to have the chat in place. Some people like to pop the chat out by double clicking it. And then you get this separate window that you can move around. That won't, the chat commands won't work if you're doing that. So you'll have to use other commands to roll dice. For example, /R to roll dice. So go ahead and do that. And simple example, roll a d20. That works fine. Let's do 100 d20s. Oh, it's taken a bit. There it goes. And you can see that this supports dice with 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20, or 100 sides. Fudge Dice have their own command, and what this is doing is it is using the advanced dice roller behind the scenes. So you can see that there's a 100 in here from the command that we typed previously. If I go ahead and leave this up while I do something fancy, you'll see what it's doing. So let's do a roll, and we're going to roll 5 d6s, and let's explode them Shadowrun style, compounded explosion. And we will check for successes if they are greater than 4. So it's like we're doing some kind of hybrid between Shadowrun and, I don't know, Burning Wheel. You see it just selected all of those options. We even got an explosion, so that's nice to see. And you can see that it shows up in your last rolls. So this is just behind the scenes using the advanced dice roller. Now, the advanced dice roller doesn't support Fudge Dice. You might have noticed in the drop-down, there's no option. So because of that, we have a command specifically for Fudge Dice. So you can roll 1 Fudge die. I did F1 just there. There it goes. And I could just do F as well. That will also roll 1 Fudge die. And you can go all the way up to 5. And the reason that it stops at 5 is because that is actually using these buttons here. And of course, if you want to roll more, you can use a chat command. Do /R, and let's say like 10 Fudge dice. So you can do that, but again, if you're using chat commands, you have to not have the chat popped out. So this gives you options depending on how you like to set up Roll20, which is what this library is all about. Next, let's go ahead and move on to audio. You may have noticed that there's been audio playing in the background. I tried to keep it nice and quiet, and I'm going to turn it up at this point just for sake of demonstration. So you should be able to hear it pretty well now. If I do / and then A, this is going to load up the audio commands. And so I can stop all audio with AS. And so now audio has stopped. I can play a playlist with a P, and I'm going to say, let's play my travel playlist. You can see that that has started playing. Let's go ahead and skip to the middle to where we can actually hear the audio, because this is a quiet one. Okay, you can hear it there. Now let's summon the bar again, and let's try AN to skip to the next track. You can see it has skipped to the next travel track. We can also play a specific track. So I'm going to stop the audio first, because this is a quiet one, and we're going to play Torch Loop, which is one of my tracks. And turn this up. You can hear the flame of the torch. That's pretty cool. Now that is the audio controls. Moving on, you can create new things. So let's say you, on the fly, the players meet an NPC and you want to go ahead and create a character for them real quick. You can do NC for new character and it will pop up. I'm going to go ahead and hide the help so you can see it. So let's call him, I don't know, Bob, and save it. And if you check your journal, you'll see that Bob is now up at the top here. I'm going to go ahead and delete Bob. Goodbye, Bob. Let's bring the help back. And in addition to characters, you could also create handouts. So do NH for handout. And close the help again. So here we have a mysterious note. Call it, I don't know, treasure map. Upload an image, whatever you want to do. And you can see it's been saved over here. So all this is a really simple way of getting at these two buttons no matter where you are, which I think is handy because often, you know, you might need to gin up a character in the middle of nothing, and so it can stop the game from slowing down. Let's go ahead and open the help back up again. Next up, we have a turn tracker. So you can do /TO to open the turn order. You can clear it. We don't actually have anybody in there yet, so let's go ahead and highlight these guys and hit U to add turns. That's not one of mine. That's just one of the advanced keyboard shortcuts that are enabled by Roll20, assuming you check the box for that. And let's go ahead and give them some initiatives. So I'll say that Clint has a 1 and Lucan has a 20 and Jem, let's give him a 15. And now you can see that there is an option to sort turns. That's TS. So TS. Now we've sorted our turns. And you can do TN to go to the next turn. It's very handy. And we can also clear the turn tracker with TC. And when we're done with it, we can close it with TX. Now, these last two are my favorite. So MCS and MCE will start and end combat all in one go. M is the prefix for macros. And what these actually do, they have multiple steps. But if you select some tokens, I can go ahead and do MCS to start combat. And what that's going to do is open the turn tracker. It's going to stop whatever audio might be playing, and it's going to start my combat audio. I'm going to go ahead and pot that down a little bit because it's a bit aggressive. And now that I've got that going, I could hit U, just a standard keyboard shortcut, to add those characters, and then we can start playing our combat. So use TN every time it's time to advance the turn. And when we're done, I can do MCE to end combat. And what that's going to do, you see it did a whole bunch of stuff in one fell swoop there. It's going to stop the combat music. It's going to start up a playlist called Dungeon. I'm going to make this configurable in the future, but at the moment it's just any playlist named Dungeon, which I use to contain music that just gives a kind of exploratory vibe, good for transitioning out of combat, kind of coasting back down. So it's going to do that. It's also, as you see, it's going to close the turn tracker, and if we open it back up, you'll see that it actually cleared the turn tracker as well. So that is Roll20 enhanced keyboard shortcuts. If you find that useful, please give me a thumbs up. And there will be links down in the description on where to download the enhancement user script, as well as a blog post where I explain all of this in more detail. Thanks for watching.